morning, everyone. I just want to say thank you again for supporting First Among Equals. I'm actually here with Nikki Mitchell. She's an amazing, amazing creator of Willow and Oak skincare. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. Good morning, everyone.
How are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Awesome. So I think the reason that I have you here is because you and I have not known each other very long at all.
No.
And in fact, this is my second interaction with you, really. I mean, not on the interwebs.
Right.
But like a real person-to-person thing, which I think is super rare now. But we were tabling together at an event.
Yeah.
5 months ago.
Yeah.
It was a long time ago now.
Like early December.
Oh, then it wasn't. It was 3 or 4 months ago.
Yeah,
You're right.
early December. Mm-hmm.
You're right. I think it's because you and I were talking about my podcast, and I was like, that's when it was, in October, November. Anyways, and I really, really love what you're doing.
Thank you.
I love the story behind it, and I think that I see all the hard work that you're putting into it, and I just, yeah. So I guess if you could give us a brief description of what you've been working on and sort of what your passion is.
Yeah, of course. I have a lot of passions. I believe this is like the first time I've really been able to really sort of follow through with something that I felt so deeply about.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that just comes with my age and experience at this point. But, you know, when Willow and Oak first sort of came about, it was due to some health issues that came. My body was very overwhelmed with fibroid tumors, and they grew vertically. Mm-hmm. So what happened was they sort of encroached on my bladder.
Jeez.
and my rectal usage. So basically what happened was I believe they were pinching a nerve around the bladder and created a distension. So I wasn't able to void. So my bladder was blowing up like a balloon.
Wow. Especially
every month. And when I found out I had fibroids, I was like, cool, I'll go do something more holistic, but it ended up being very aggressive because sometimes a gentle approach is better since the body's been kind of going through something for a long time.
Yeah.
I wasn't able to sort of fix the issue completely. I ended up having a myomectomy surgery, which is really intense. It was not a very nice recovery. But I'm glad I did it in retrospect. And it obviously changed the course of my life and a lot of habits that are a lot better now.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I did lose I call it partially paralyzed. So my bladder's partially paralyzed, so I can go on my own partially. But where the nerves were sort of damaged, I have to self-catheter now. So,
okay. And how long have you had to do that for now?
It's going on 4 years. Yeah, so it's still very new, and I'm still very heartbroken and grieving from a lost body part. That
absolutely.
You have this thing for so many years that you don't even think about. It's like breathing. You have to go to the bathroom. You know what I mean? And
totally.
So
every single day, and
depending on your fluids and how many times you go. So this has been like I was deeply depressed about it. I thought it was going to get better. The doctors are giving me lots of hope, like, oh, don't worry, it'll snap back, boom, boom. And I'm like, okay. And during this time, I was doing a fundraiser right after surgery, not too long after, I did a crowdfund for Willow and Oak. And
sorry. So
yeah, let me time that better.
Yes, I just want to know.
Yeah, apologize.
No worries.
So during the time I was sort of working on these fibroids,
okay,
I was discovering what I call herbal alchemy. So lots of herbs. I was drinking lots of teas, breathing work, yoga. Obviously, I was doing lots of detoxes, lots of experimentation with vegan raw and juicing. Which all had amazing benefits. They were just a little aggressive. I was very aggressive with them. So I'm sure like my body was like, look, I'm already going crazy here hormonally.
And figuring this out too.
Like, so,
but I get it. It was like your way of trying to figure.
Yeah, you get really desperate, and I was excited and eager and desperate and just all these feelings about like recovery, I had grown up with a sick relative, so there were lots of underlying issues there already where I didn't have a lot of trust for Western medicine. And so in retrospect, I could see why I was so aggressive, and there was lots of fear surrounding that, surrounding their help and their methods and whatever. So then,
do you think that, because I've always kind of had this belief in that, and like things get represented to you when maybe there is a lesson there that you haven't yet figured out or acquired some understanding of, and you could have been going through this with someone else, and then something wasn't manifested, or some sort of enlightenment hadn't happened within you that was represented to you again, or not at all. I mean, so I guess because as humans we always try to make sense of everything.
Yeah, and I don't think that one or the other is necessarily right. I think that's what I've come to terms with, is the Western versus something more holistic. They both serve their purpose, and to have your back against the wall on both of them really is a disservice.
Absolutely.
And so that was really hard to come to terms with, because your ego really was like fixed on the idea that healing is intuitive, but it is also education and knowledge and practice and discipline. Lots of things that I did lack, and I'm still learning. So I thought, I'll just, take care of this. It seems like everyone's doing this, it's magical. Just juice and heal the body with food and blah, blah, blah. But there was a lot more involved in that. And it is an organic process for each person's journey in that, and it's not a one size fits all. Totally. Even though you're hearing this and hearing that, I really had to tune in a little better and go, okay, maybe that's not going to work for me. So,
timeline with that then. Sorry.
Yeah, so leading up to that, so I'm doing all these things, and I start learning about what I'm putting on my body, and I'm like, oh, wow, I can make my own deodorant. That was the biggest thing. That's the one thing I thought that I felt like I was using every day, that I had more control over than food. If I went out to eat, I didn't really have a lot of control. I worked in restaurants. I worked in a restaurant for a long time. I loved eating out, big foodie, drank a lot of wine. Yeah. So a lot of this was like, oh my God, you know? What do you mean I can't have all these things? Cheese. And I worked at a freaking cheese restaurant,
Yeah.
So then, so then I started to become very fascinated with the essential oils, and I literally had a candle, a beeswax candle, that I like broke up in the kitchen and put that in like a double broiler, so like a pan with like a glass. I had like a glass Pyrex cup, and so I melted the beeswax, some olive oil, put some essential oils in there, and I had this salve, and I was like, that's it. Yeah, I could do that. Yeah. So it completely.
When did that happen for you? When did you go, like that's what I want to do? I'm always fascinated by that, because I get like that too. Like boom, it's like it hits me. Like, yep, I'm gonna do that. It's done.
Yeah, I think you're kind of like I'm looking for things for myself. You know what I mean? I'm looking to sort of. I was making these things to sort of like experiment with on myself. And then when I started to demystify some of these things that seemed so essential in my life, that seemed so hard to wrap my head around, like what was in them and how would you even go about preserving them. When I made that first salve, I was like, wow, that would be so cool if like I could create little things for my family members or for whomever, especially women were a big part of like sort of that service. And that's when I was like, I gotta figure out how to make a deodorant.
That's awesome.
And then it was really, it was subtle, but it was like, aha, you know? Yeah. And I said, if I can do this and it feels right, I want to create a business around it.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
When was that? What year was that?
So this is like 2000, it had to be like 2014.
Okay.
Because my crowdfund was in 2015. But before then, I had already been doing little things. I mean, I'd always been into holistic things and yoga, and there were lots of things surrounding good lifestyle choices. But when I moved from California to New York, this all happened in New York, by the way.
Okay.
I moved to New York in 2008.
Okay.
So it was just a really intense city where yoga was really expensive.
Yeah, because it's not here.
Right.
Yeah, I feel you.
Freaking crazy.
Yeah,
man.
it's crazy.
I couldn't believe it because I got into the yoga world when it was really taboo.
Really?
Oh, yeah. I
didn't.
20. I was like 25.
Oh, wow. Yeah. Okay.
I'm 40 now. Just give you a timeline.
Yeah.
I mean, I had no idea. And people were calling me like, I heard you be breathing in Satan. I'm like, what the hell?
Gosh, really?
Yeah, it was freaking intense, dude.
That's funny.
And I'm like, breathing in Satan. I'm like the non-religious person. I'm like, Satan, you think about this?
Yeah, for real.
I was like, because human beings are scary to me.
The
fact that they're thinking about Satan,
Agreed.
I'm like, okay.
Grown-ups scare me all the time.
Seriously.
And I stay with kids and animals. I'm straight. I can do that. They can kind of figure them out. But adults, grown-ups, sometimes it's so...
They are. We're really intense.
I'm very selective with my grown-ups.
Yeah.
For real.
Seriously.
But because this is why I adore you, and I already immediately thought you were amazing. You have such beautiful, healing, kind energy, and we had such a great conversation, and I just loved the passion, and I actually love the products. I have not bought any of her products yet. I have not. When I met her was 6 months ago when I was working a part-time. I just got a full-time position a few months, maybe a month ago.
Oh, yeah.
So things are starting to come back. I'm starting to get more stable again. And I think but I just, by your look, and then it's almost an artist. I'm like, your design aesthetic, your eye, it just looks like,
thank you.
It's just beautiful. It actually, you are that. You within your style. If you guys check out our Instagram, which you will now, some more, I don't know, you're really good at translating your energy through the media.
That's really great to hear. I mean, it's definitely been a work in progress of practicing more vulnerability and some humility in the work that I do, because to sort of really work on some of the issues that I had so that they don't come back, because the thing is, when you get sick or when you have a chronic issue, a lot of things that have traumatized you in your past, or maybe you're currently dealing with some disappointment, are really emphasized. Mm-hmm. And the pain or the chronic issues, or maybe even a disease, is really a manifestation of that in some way.
Absolutely.
So it's really, I think, one of those things where it's such an abrupt awakening, and you're really scrambling to truly understand how not to fall apart completely and want to kill yourself. I mean, that's kind of where I was in New York. It's not to be dramatic, but the suicide feelings of not wanting to live. It's not about not wanting to be alive. It's about not wanting to suffer.
Mm-hmm. And it makes sense.
Yeah.
The darkness has been there.
Yeah.
But it's just easier to not to exist anymore.
Yeah. I mean,
it's just, why suffer? Why have other people watch me suffer, or put other people through my stuff? Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I had a partner that I had to, really move and evolve with this, with these issues, and with the business as well. So it was really
a lot. I don't even know how you can do that. I can barely do that by myself, and pull someone. I mean, because it kind of is. It's you have to work together. But if you're not even working with yourself,
yeah. I mean, I think the partner I have, thankfully, he does hold some accountability, which is great, because, when you're in a really dark place, you're not trying to reach out. You're not trying to have recovery. It's really you and your sunken hole,
protecting yourself. Yeah, absolutely.
And so, and I had great friends. I mean, I definitely had some friends who were like, what's going on? Checking in. All that stuff. So it was a beautiful thing to experience, because a lot of where I feel like Willow and Oak is going with the vulnerability, what I'm trying to really have a platform now yes, self-care, which feels like it's a trend right now, but it's definitely an absolute movement that's necessary. And I'm like, I'll get on board with that one.
Yeah, I'm good with it too.
Yeah. How do you relax, you know? How do we get back to basics where we have this space to really sort of answer some questions, you know, that we're not doing, whether you're doing it through journaling, through yoga, through breath work, wherever you can just have a moment that's yours, you know, even if you have children and stuff, like you can't be this like just self-serving.
Absolutely.
You know, not self-serving, but just always giving, and then you're going to just feel resentful.
Absolutely.
Even with children and partners and friends. Like,
and that's your responsibility.
It is. That's the thing, is that it's this thing where it's like, I was very someone who was like a doormat in my life. Yes, you know. Yeah. How can I ease your comfort, you know? And just pushing mine down all the time. And then overcompensating with big, loud personality and humor to cover up sort of the sad clown, you know. And, you know, that a big, loud personality it's shaped me. And so now I know how I want to use it, you know, to not manipulate or
self-aware about it.
Absolutely. And not use it to comfort people who don't need comfort
or walk away when you need to.
Absolutely. So it's been, I think that's one of the biggest things, where the acceptance of where I've had to come to terms with my disability, not being able to utilize my bladder.
That's major.
You know. Is like, okay, so if this is something I have to accept, you know, how can I work with this and how can I share this? Because talking to you about it now would, a year ago, I'd be crying about it, because I'd just be like, you know, I've been bottling it in, and there was such a shame around it. I was very embarrassed about it. I mean, there's still some of those residual feelings, because you're like, oh my God, I'm only 40. Like now I'm like, you know, and I grew up with a sick person, so I'm associating like, you know, elderly and convalescence, you know, with this situation. And I'm like, but I'm not, I'm vital and young and, you know, and, you know, it's thousands of dollars for medical supplies, all these things that you don't expect because you think, you know, you're invincible.
Yeah.
So not having that invincibility, is where you sort of get slapped with, you know, humility and you're humbled and you're like, fuck, okay. Yeah. You know, I got to take a step back because, you know, the universe is so divine. It's like you're just running in this, you know, hamster wheel. And it's just like, yeah, you're going to burn yourself out, kid. And you want to do all these things in your life. You see yourself as this person who wants to create and be someone who inspires, but what are you doing? Yeah. You know, so it's just like, boom, you know, you're like, oh, okay, this is how we're going to learn how to do that, you know? Yeah. So now to sort of become the woman I feel that I am, to bring out all that potential and that love and all those things that I want to project, I had to sort of go through like a whole new rebirth. And I'm in it. Like, you're meeting me kind of in what I feel like is this thing that's just like rebirthing me, you know?
That's amazing. Yeah. Well, I kind of sensed that was happening, but I think it's happening to me too.
Good.
Yeah.
It's beautiful.
It's beautiful. It's annoying. It's scary. It's intimidating. But every day I try to throw myself out there. And as an artist, if you're an artist too, it's like we're vulnerable. It's like you just constantly want to open yourself up. It's just scary doing it as much as you can.
It is, because you still have expectations about how you think you can sort of like project, you know, that energy.
It's I'm not gonna lie, it's my ego too. Ego helps get me through a lot of things, thank God. And ego's not necessarily the best thing to have, but it's
there to serve that purpose. It's sort of there to put you in a position where you're gonna make mistakes because you have these fixed ideas and expectations, and you know, it protects you in a way from making certain decisions too. But you know, you have to sort of work with it like a friend,
kind of, yeah,
like a good.
I look at it like it's your friend,
alter ego, or something.
It's your alter, yeah, and it's also your friend who gets you through the hard parts. But when your friend starts telling you like, oh, well, that person's thinking this about you, or
that starts creating paranoia.
When they get crazy, or like you start to get like angry about somebody, then you have to go, oh no, that's my ego,
yeah,
and that has nothing to do with them, and that's me, and I need to like not go down that psychopath way that my friend's like, let's go down, let's go down over here, and let's talk about that. And I'm like, no, I don't want to talk about that anymore. Like, let's just stay here, legit, like forward thinking, positive. It's just like hard.
And you have to keep that company too. And I think when you grow and start to shift into like these different rebirths that you go through in life, the sort of 10-year cycles.
Yes.
You definitely start attracting a different kind of people to you. And so I'm very aware of that. So where I'm at right now, and even how we're able to have this sit down together, is that attraction to uplift and sort of find another woman that mirrors, that ambition, that humility, that humor that you love in yourself and that you want to see more in the world. Yeah.
Oh, me too.
So that sort of like back and forth, that mirror that you and I are having, is exactly like what I call like the 11-11, it's confirmed.
That's so legit.
Yeah.
That's so legit you say that, because I think it just hit me right now that you said that, because it's like I am looking for people that women that mirror who I want to be and who I'm becoming, because I think of the disappointments I've had in the past of just feeling let down from people, that I feel like I need to find that hope in new people.
Yeah, that's huge. The hope in new people, because again, you'll be in that place where you're sort of like protective. And you don't know how to.
And I don't want to stay in there.
Yeah.
I don't want to stay in that like little burrow and like cover up and be like no and fuck the world and that kind of thing. Like I can only do that for a little bit, and I don't want to be that person. All
right,
the time.
right. It's okay. Like I've allowed myself to sort of have my moments.
Fuck the world moments.
Fuck the world. Shit's fucking nuts.
It is fucking nuts.
People are fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And it's funny, the older I've gotten to, I just, I've never wanted to have a family with children. Yeah. I've always wanted to tribe up and find my own family. I mean, that's...
Word.
Yeah. But it's been really heavy on my mind lately. And not in this way where I'm having any regrets, but just like, I'm kind of concerned that people want to continue to have children. It seems very scary to me. So I know because this is coming up, it's something I need to work on. This is a childhood issue. This is my mother and my father, of course. But it's just like, I love being around children. I think being around them, you sort of remember, your that youthfulness, that sort of invincibility, that sort of like,
wonder.
Yeah, that curiosity, and I really like that. I really enjoy that energy, and I think that's something that I have. But you get older and you see how hard life is, and you go through these things, and these disappointments really do dictate how you go about making future decisions. Hopefully with more caution, but not with too many reservations where you do nothing.
Yeah. That's funny that you said that, though, because I was thinking, because we're around the same age, and I think I'm 37, and it's like I'm at that point where it's like, am I going to get married? Am I going to have kids? Am I going to and I'm not really, I've entertained the idea and things, but it's also like it has to be a certain way for me. Yeah. It has to be right, and if it's not, it's just not. And I'm okay with that, too, because I feel like I worked with kids for so many years that I saw so many jacked up things. I mean, I've gone with 20 years. Yep. Working with kids, and I was a guidance counselor for 5 years, and I'm glad I'm out of it, because I think it really messed with me. And so it kind of kept me, I think, from having relationships, from wanting to kind of go deeper with someone, because I think I just saw everything, and I just a lot of people don't realize when they get into a relationship or want to have kids, that it's the rest of your life. You're signing your life away. It's not a bad thing. It's a wonderful thing. But I don't know. I see people that just are so disrespectful and treat their children like nothing, and treat their relationships. And it's just, I can't. And I know I won't be that person, but it's gotta be, I gotta really have trust with somebody to really feel like that we're not going to do that. And I know a lot of people that said like, oh, we said we were going to be different. And then that one person changed the game. You know, like it was like, and I just know, like, kind of like what you're saying. It's like, it has to be right or it's not at all.
Yeah. And that's tough for women like us because, and I say that because we're older now and we understand that certain things have to be aligned before, you know, those kinds of things come in. And I mean, you can never really completely prepare yourself for such a game changer.
No, exactly. No, I know that. That's very true. I mean, things might not go the way that you want them, but you would be grateful for them. I mean, like everything we've done.
Of course.
We don't know, like, no regrets, you know? It's never, it is what it's supposed to be when it is. And there's nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if this lifetime is about birthing an actual child. It could be about, you know, I've actually and been more comfortable with this too. I've always wanted to adopt.
I've thought of that too. Foster or adopt. Down.
If I'm ever in a position where.
Me too. Financially too.
The universe aligns me with this other soul, and it's like, okay.
Kismet. Yeah.
Yeah. You don't have to.
I agree.
You don't have to do it physically.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have to, like, you know, but we're gonna send this whatever age it's gonna be. And I said, I'm open to that.
I'm open to that too.
So Definitely. The universe knows now.
Yeah.
Send me this motherfucker. And we're gonna work it out together.
I agree.
And figure it out.
Amen to that. I absolutely agree with you because I thought of that too. I'm like, that could be an alternative. It doesn't have to come from my seed, my blood, even though my blood and my seed is legit. But still, I think I've been taking care of so many other people's kids for so long. I'm kind of ready to, like, I'm still down to extend that later. But it's financial, man. Like, I can't.
Financial.
I gotta be able to write a check and not look at the money. When the kid needs the uniform for the thing, and I just go, okay, here, and not think twice.
Exactly.
Because I am so tired of kids telling me, oh, but Miss Lonnie, I can't do it because my mom said we have no money.
Yeah.
Or, oh, we can't do it because my dad said blah, blah, blah. And it's like, that should not be put on the child. I don't think the kids need to be a brat and live this, like, you know, certain lifestyle where they're not working and not earning their stuff. But to feel that you're at a deficit as a child or feel like you don't have anything.
Burdening your family because...
No, I don't want that.
Yeah.
I don't want them to feel... I don't want kids to feel that way because automatically as a kid you always think everything is your fault when things happen.
Oh gosh, yeah. And that's the thing is it's not even like the parents are just sort of in this place where it's a very impulsive conversation when you're expressing your financial burdens with your children. I think a lot of it just comes from their own frustration.
Absolutely.
And
not educated.
Yeah.
And understanding how that impacts a child.
There's no objectivity. There's just like...
And they don't have a support system. That's the thing is I know that. Yeah. You know, I need the friend who I can bitch to that no one knows I'm bitching or I lose my shit to.
Exactly.
Because when other people have seen me lose my shit, I've seen people lose shit because I'm always the one that doesn't lose her shit. Mm-hmm. So it's like I don't want to burden as an adult. Yeah. Don't want to burden my family or my crew of people. I have to go to that one person who I can like look like a hot mess in the corner with, and be like, okay,
you need that space.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then come back and be 100 with everyone else because you can't do that with everybody,
especially your kids. And that's just one of the things. I think my mother was very young, and so her navigating this world. Being so young and not really having the right support system at the time, really, it definitely, I definitely see like, oh, Mom, why'd you do that?
I know, I have a few of those.
Like, aside from my father was never around. Really,
yeah.
You know.
Oh, you're on that club too, huh?
Oh, yeah, dude. He's got daddy issues.
Yeah.
I got mommy issues.
You got mommy issues, yeah. My mom and I are really close, and I'm thankful for that. That took a long time to get there. We've always had a good relationship, but now it's like, you know, just before I got here, I was texting my mom. She was like, she sent me some video of like she's at a bar and some woman was dancing on the bar, and I was like, Mom, what is this?
What is this? Why are you sending me this?
Well, I always laugh because she just moved to Las Vegas, and she had a lot of fears, like I'm going to be alone. I'm not going to meet any friends. You know, especially as an older single woman, like you don't like, you know, you want to be alone.
Yeah.
You know, she doesn't have a boyfriend, My mother's never been married. So, anyway, she makes the move finally, and she's been busy ever since. She's got a little part-time job.
Oh, great.
Friends are always coming out there. She's doing these meet and greets, So
those are cool. I know that eventually I would probably utilize some of those, like,
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Every time they email me, I'm like, oh, there's a life drawing going on on
Tuesday.
But I'm like, I can't be on the west side at 7:30 in the evening.
Right, exactly.
Y'all tripping. Doing that, but it's still a dope.
You're trying to get to that 405.
Nah, hell no.
Yeah. But
anyways,
it's just, I always tease her because I'm like, your retirement is amazing, because she's always busy, always doing something. Mother's always been kind of a party girl. So it's been fun to see her sort of like, kind of come to some different places in her life because she's always had a schedule. She's worked at a post office for over 30 years. So she's lived very comfortable. And so to her to sort of explore, I want her to find something she wants to do. She had kids so young. Mm-hmm. It's like, what are some passions that you want to play with, want to explore? So
is she figuring that out now?
Yeah, she's playing with that. She's like, she wants to travel. She wants to do all of that stuff too. So
what brought on Vegas?
I think you just get more for your money.
Okay.
Yeah, my mom looked at.
Vegas. Las Vegas. I heard the property there's amazing.
It's amazing. Right now. I've gone out there and we were looking at properties before she moved out there. She's been, looking into for over 3 years, maybe longer. Before her retirement, she really wanted to get it all together. Yeah. She's a tourist, so she needs like a lot of planning before she makes a move.
Yeah, Pam's a tourist. Huh?
Yeah.
It's the same. My friend's a tourist too.
I don't make impulsive decisions. Yeah.
She's planning. Which is great when you're going on a trip with her.
Yeah.
Like with those kind of people, it's like, thanks, Pam, you did all the work. I can kick back. I can be artsy and aloof. Anyways.
Yeah, my mom's great for that. She plans everything. She's got it all figured out. You don't have to worry about snacks. You don't have to worry about,
I love it.
excursions when you go out over the country.
She knows all that. She pops out all the books, the maps. Yeah. She's got everything. Like, if we have an extra 20 minutes, let's go do this.
Yeah, I'm not very good at that. I'm very like, I'll just look. We're just gonna get in there and figure it out.
Yeah,
that's a bad idea a lot of times when you're in another country.
Yeah. I'm in the middle.
Yeah,
I can do it, but if someone signs up before me, I'm like, all right, cool. I don't have to do that.
Right. Like I'll take the lead.
Yeah,
but I'd rather not. I'd rather not make these kinds of decisions.
That's funny.
So my boyfriend's great at that.
Okay, well then,
yeah. So I do have a partner who's thankfully fairly well traveled around the world, and he had to, some foresight on some things that, how to go about all this. So, because I was like, okay, we need to get a passport, we need to get like, how do you do money exchange? All these things were very intimidating.
Yeah. They can be.
And I was like a kid from Long Beach, like grew up in the South Bay. Like people don't talk about those kinds of things I grew up, but they don't talk about travel. They don't talk about exploration in any sense.
Not at all. If anything, it's like road trips. Like we're going to Rosarito or like whatever.
Like, go to Palm Springs.
Yeah, that's
it. Santa Barbara.
And we do that every year.
Yeah,
like still even on top of
right.
But that's like basics.
Well, it's leveled up now.
We level it up.
Yeah, and there's a lot more going on too. From like the 80s, but it was like. Even when I was leaving, moving to New York, I had a lot of friends like, why do you want to leave? Why do you want to go to New York? And I'm like, why not?
That's what's up.
Yeah. I had it's not like I had like a job opportunity. I've always been sort of an artist in that way where I'm like, I need to figure out how to make my own money. So I'm not surprised that I'm in this position where I'm actually, in this place where I have to allow myself to think that I'm an entrepreneur.
You are an entrepreneur.
Yeah. And I have this opportunity where I'm like, I'm going to do this. Mm-hmm. Going to figure out, because there's no plan B.
No.
This is it. There's no children, so it's like.
Exactly. There's no excuses either. Yeah, you can't pull it like, oh, well, I'm a mom.
Right.
Working all those nights. Right, in the factory. It's not like that anymore, guys.
Right. Like, I got to find a city or government job.
Exactly. Everything is at our disposal.
Yeah.
The phone is a massive tool. Like,
it's insane.
I was talking to somebody else, my homie on the last podcast, we were tripping out on how all the tools for your phone, like, there are no excuses. If we had the video camera, if we had the social media when you were like 8, but in a controlled, not this crazy what's happening now, but man. Like, as a tool. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Back in the day, it was like the big old camera. Like you had to go on public access. R.I.P. But I loved public. But you see the funkiest shows. You remember? Like, it was like Channel 3 or Channel 2. I don't remember. Channel 3? It was like you could go there, and they just shut it down a few years ago, and I was all sad.
That's awful.
Isn't that awful?
Yeah.
I think so. I know YouTube took that over, kind of. Like, that's where you can get weird now. But something about doing it...
platform. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but something about doing it locally in your own little area, and you got some funky, weird TV show. It's so dope. Like, so retro. Like, I was like, I would totally be doing that right now. Just have some weird
That can eventually come back full circle.
Yeah, imagine going there with a green screen, like, I don't know what.
Yeah, right. A green screen.
Like, like a weird, I don't even know. I get weird.
Palm trees.
You get weird.
I can see that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anyway, so coming back to the deodorant, because this is kind of what I wanted to talk to you, because I want to learn, like, what exactly, in terms of, like, because usually the organic vibe is great, but I feel like a lot of people have had, like, a lot of complaints about, like, long-lasting wear, that kind of a thing. And I know that that's the reason why we have all the chemicals that stick onto us for days and days and days, and you can actually scrub stuff off because it won't come off unless you do that. It's wild. So I'm in this weird where I want to go that route, but I also know that I work out a lot, and I have a scent. And maybe I'm being a brat. I just have to carry it with me everywhere. I scent. But like what? So with your line, what is it that you're doing? What are the smells? Because you smell amazing today.
Thank you. I meant to bring you guys something. I apologize.
It's all good. No. Don't even. I will have you again.
Yeah. So... This is just. I'm so honored, Lonnie. Seriously. The deodorant. I think I have this conversation, especially doing markets and stuff. You really get to experience people's concerns.
And
fears.
And that's what I want to hear.
And
that's what I want to hear.
Yeah.
It's so interesting.
So basically, even when I was experimenting, I was reading about what they call like a leaching experience, where when you stop wearing antiperspirant, there's a leaching that your armpits go through.
Wow.
So anything that's chemically based that's not, obviously, it's not normal to be there is going to come out, The body's divine,
and it's
it'll
build
get rid
up.
of it. Yeah, so it's buildup of all these sort of we call them toxins, but they're just chemical substances that the body doesn't naturally produce. Basically, that is filler to create a product. It could be preservatives, things like that. So it starts to leach, and everybody's experience is different. It could be like really aggressive and smelly, and but. To me, I felt like the experience was amazing, because I immediately became more intuitive with what was going on with my body.
Yeah.
Especially because the fibroids affected my menstrual cycle so aggressively that I had no choice but to understand what my blood looked like, what my smells were like, what all this looked like, because I wasn't aware of it before. And when I started, changing my diet and stuff, I started to notice like, oh, I'm smelling different, I'm moving different, my energy's different, my mood is different. So I do believe a plant-based diet is probably the most thriving choice that we could probably make.
Are you vegetarian, vegan, or do you have a specific diet that you actually abide by?
I'm not super strict. Okay. I've allowed myself to work in a more gentler way. So I have, for the last I would say 5 years, I have been working towards a more plant-based.
Okay.
Because there's so many things, not just health-wise, that are involved in making that decision, but just, ethically, morally.
No, absolutely, I agree.
Yeah, so,
it's been on my mind for a long time.
The more education or the more knowledgeable you are about our agricultural methods, the easier it is to wrap around your head and to be sort of disgusted of our evolution in that way, and when you eat those kinds of things, you're supporting it. That's another topic. But
yeah, absolutely.
But definitely what you eat is important. So it is predominantly plant-based. There's some more fish in there. But moving forward, it's just basically some fish, no dairy. I try to stay away from gluten.
Which is a challenge.
It's a challenge. I love pasta.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna like not have pasta, but just I know that for me it raises my blood sugar, and I just
Well, and I know that the pasta that's manufactured here in the States versus like in Europe, I know that they're using, it's a completely different.
I bet.
It's completely different. I mean, I listen to a lot of other podcasts, and they were talking about the differences between the gluten here and all the crap they put in here. Not to say they don't put crap over there, but it's different. It's a lot more organic.
Yeah.
It's more farm to table, direct. So our body is reacting to the gluten and the processes that are being,
Yeah, the thing is, I don't think that gluten is actually the enemy unless you're a celiac.
Yeah.
I think that what happens is it starts to become an enemy because the eating lifestyles that you have had for many years have burden your body with arthritis and diabetes and whatever starts to develop from years and years of not eating
and not working out,
yeah. So
just your latent lifestyle just.
So gluten's not the enemy, guys. It's that your lifestyle has been a burden.
Absolutely.
And it's caught up to you, and now you're like, fuck, I can't eat pasta. And you're like, well, maybe for a while.
Yeah, if you just chill out and start working out and maybe not sit and watch TV for hours and hours, because that's what we apparently Americans love to do.
Yeah, we're couch potatoes. Any opportunity, I think, for any human to not be immobile and not do nothing. I mean, your body just gets used to it,
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, so the deodorant basically was the most insane thing to develop. It took the longest. I'd say it took
But it was the first thing you did, correct?
The first thing I did was a salve, and then I worked on the deodorant.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, it was like the real first thing, and then there were other things that seemed like, a facial serum, that's easy, some oils, but then. I think so big. I'm like, I want to put everything in there.
Yeah, that's how I would be. I'm such a spaz. Like, throw it all in. Like,
it's
amazing.
But then you're like, this is not.
Yeah, it's a little
budget wise. This is not realistic.
Oh yeah, that's true. I didn't even think about. I'm just thinking about like too much. I'm thinking about the money.
I've had to reformulate. I've had to let things go because it just wasn't realistic.
Or probably something you thought was going to be like.
And everyone's like, I ain't into that.
That's rough.
It is, and the deodorant became a hit. It's still a hit.
So tell me what's in the deodorant. I'm excited about this deodorant.
So basically, there's this company, and I've been very vocal about it. And I've been I've always said this was my muse behind deodorant. Is this company called Fat and the Moon.
Fat and the Moon. Okay.
Yeah, they're Northern California based.
Of course they are.
Yeah.
NorCal.
And I just exactly
total NorCal story.
It is. And when you see when you read the philosophy and the woman behind it, she's amazing. And so I bought their deodorant at this boutique in New York, and it was $20 for 2 ounces. I thought this shit better fucking work.
Heck yeah.
$20 deodorant.
Put it all over myself, but do something else too.
You would have thought I went to Saks Fifth Avenue.
Heck yeah.
And so and we're not talking some fancy jar. We're talking just like a basic jar here with the metal lid, and I have to show you when this is over.
Yeah.
The Fat and the Moon, like their whole logo. I mean, it just looks like
chill, basic.
Yeah, like she drew it up.
We're just NorCal. We're like raw and rugged, and doesn't really matter.
Right.
It's gonna be, but it's badass. Like now, of course, I'm gonna be all up on their jockwatch. So it's like whatever.
It's what makes it so badass is because it's so not fucking pretentious.
That's why. Yeah. That's my fucking point.
And you're like I'm the audience that's gonna love that.
Yeah, I like that too.
Because it's like, oh shit, that's dope.
Yes.
This is in a boutique costing $20, and it looks like
that. It's gotta be legit.
So I try this deodorant, and I'm like, I look at the ingredients. I'm like, dang, I know everything in here. So I try it, and I'm blown away.
Really?
So now my wheels are really spinning about where I want to go with my company.
That's
how
so
I want to
cool.
approach
So like
this.
it's like an inspiration.
Yeah, it was like a strong epiphany of like, this was so important to me to put something on my body that we do all the time. I think
Every
it's the most, facial serums and body scrubs. These things are some other little luxuries,
Yes.
But this is something that in our culture, we do really feel is necessary to the ritual. So it took, the Jordan didn't come out right away. I had other things going on. It took about 2 or 3 years to really develop this. I didn't, and baking soda is a huge issue for a lot of natural deodorants. It's very alkalining, so this causes, for some reason, a lot of some irritation in a lot of people. So I was working baking soda, so I'd shave my armpits, and I put that product right on my arms. It was like itchy and irritated, and I was like, oh, that's not gonna work. And I worked in retail cosmetics, so I was like, oh, hell no, I don't even want to deal with people coming at me like my armpits are on fire, and you're like, I'm like staring at the email like, how do I answer this? Yeah. And not to say that I haven't had someone go, your deodorant hasn't worked for me. I only maybe twice in the almost 4 years I've been working and doing this. And it's not something that the baking soda would do. They just have really sensitive pits.
Okay.
Sometimes you can't.
Something just doesn't work for someone. It's just their chemical.
Right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, so I found a form of magnesium where I thought was genius because I was taking magnesium supplements and didn't realize how amazing magnesium was. And
what is amazing about magnesium?
So there's different varietals of magnesium, and it's basically great if you want to take a poop. It helps to sort of detoxify the body and help keep balance. So
you were taking it in pill form.
Yeah, I was taking a supplement, and I because again I incorporated it in there because it was like it felt like I was getting fiber because it helps you poop and your body's moving. But again, food can do that. You don't have to supplement. But when you're having I was severely anemic and I was having a lot of issues, I needed something to sort of help
elevate that.
Yeah, faster than in food. Now I rarely take any supplements right now. So basically, our bodies naturally have magnesium, so it just makes sense to put something back in the body or on the body that we already naturally produce. And so transdermally, whatever you put on your body, it's in your blood, it's in your organs. And so again, that was sort of another idea, like, well, damn, like if you're going to put it on, it might as well be the best for you if it's going to have certain effects, negative or positive. We really need to think about that. So I got the deodorant. It's heavily scented in cardamom, so it's definitely unisex.
Awesome.
Yeah, Manuka is something very new, and it's not like a household name, but it basically works like tea tree oil.
Okay.
So Manuka has the same properties. It doesn't smell like a Band-Aid. Like tea tree oil can still very medicinal.
Yeah, that's true.
And people do love that.
I love tea tree oil.
I love tea tree too.
But I feel you. It does have a very specific, strong.
So it can be like, okay, so I want my pits to smell like Band-Aids.
I feel you on that.
And I was advised by somebody in industry that I thankfully knew, who was like, make sure your aroma is on point.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. He's like, no matter how amazing this might work,
people won't.
Just, So cardamom and magnesium and coconut oil for sure, because it's antimicrobial, antibacterial. So finding all these amazing oils that really work more synergistically with your body. So, you're putting something on your body, especially your pits where there is bacteria. There's these glands that have, odors in them that aren't, aromatically pleasing.
Absolutely.
And so what happens is it's not an antiperspirant. So you will sweat. I put a little arrowroot in there so that it does absorb some of the moisture. But I had to allow myself to just get comfortable sweating, comfortable with the idea that we obviously were born this way, so this is something that has to happen naturally.
I agree.
So
I feel like I'm getting there now. Like I'm starting to let go of sort of the Western, a little more of kind of my expectations. I'm still junior high 12-year-old Lonnie at the gym. like with all the girls, like, I don't want to smell. I don't want people to know that I have anything. I'm perfect. I get no period.
Right.
Like, you know.
I don't get butt spread. I don't get vagina spread.
Yeah, nothing.
Like, nothing happens to me.
Nothing. I'm perfect. I'm the only girl at Irving Junior High that is like clean as a mofo.
Yeah,
so I need to get, like, I'm already kind of past that, of course, but still, every so often I feel like I put so many things on, I think, that I don't realize. Like you said, you just don't feel yourself. You don't smell yourself.
Yeah.
You don't know
oh my God.
the colors of things. Like, everything is a certain thing because you've just aligned yourself into this routine.
Yeah.
And it's not good. And I mean, some of it's not bad or good or whatever. You can put whatever good or bad on anything, but I do feel like it's not good.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, you know, as women especially, you know, the grooming rituals that we develop from our mothers, they get passed down to us from their mothers, and it's, you know, so on and so on. You know, that's all generational, and we're learning more about, you know, sort of how we're evolving just as a human, but especially as a woman. And, you know, years of, you know, I mean, my mother never shamed a menstrual cycle. It was other people outside of the household that put a lot of shame on that time of the month.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And so
you make jokes.
They, you know, and other women were shaming it, which was really, you know, in retrospect, I go, oh my God.
Isn't that trippy? I know.
They don't even know the effect that had on me, because I started my menstrual cycle at 11. So, right before I turned 12. And I hid that a whole year in 6th grade. Hid it.
Yeah. I was 6th
because
grade
I was
too.
shamed. And
I was 6th grade too.
Yeah. I wasn't shamed personally, but people around me were shaming it, that I wasn't able to talk about it. I wasn't able to have a day where I didn't feel good and have my girlfriend comfort me, you know, because she's like, I get it, you know. It was just such a weird thing. And then after a while, I hated them for that. And then I thought, God, I don't hate them. I felt sorry for them now. So you go through these different cycles in your life. Yeah. And I wanted to be a boy. I was a tomboy.
Oh my gosh, my mom, same thing. I had it happen to me, and then I like went to my mom. My mom's like, well, you get to create life. And I'm like, wait, what?
Right.
Well, what about them? Like the boys. And she's like, oh, they don't. And I'm like, so we have to do this? Like, I was mad.
I was mad too.
I was like, that's not fair.
I was mad. I was bleeding. I didn't feel good.
Yeah, and then PE, like, they make you do all. Thank God I had a dope PE teacher. Mr. Brownlee, R.I.P. He was cool, because I was always playing ball and I was down, but if I didn't want to, he knew, like,
right,
Lonnie's out of commission. You just gotta leave her alone. But like, I was never.
But you were showing up too.
I was showing up.
Like
I was dressed.
Like you were making
I would dress for PE. Like, there were people who would just chill at the bleachers and be like, I'm not dressing, and I'm like, I'm down to dress. You just leave me alone today.
Yeah, right.
He was dope.
Right.
He was a really dope PE teacher. Anyways, yeah. But I feel you. I felt the same way. I was mad at boys. I was such a tomboy that I was like, how come Thank God, at least I was a tomboy and I wore like crazy baggy Aaliyah movie videos, and
I did too.
Timberland, like little.
I was very hip hop.
I was very hip hop.
I was in dancing crews,
yes.
And I love the idea of just being a boy. You know?
Yes, me too. Yeah. It was so much easier.
It was easier for me. I mean, I wasn't, you know, the way I dressed too. It felt like I was kind of hiding under, you know, these things, and I was the homegirl at the time. Like I wasn't dating. I wasn't the sought after girl.
Exactly.
So then again, that's where that personality overcompensated. Like, oh, I'll be the homegirl. You know, you don't have to like me. Yeah,
which was a relief.
Kind of, yeah, because I saw girls getting pregnant early.
Yeah, and I would hear what
I come from a child mom, so I was cool.
Me too. And I would hear my homies talk about those girls. And I know it sounds, back then I wasn't offended. I'm still not offended, but it's like, oh, those girls or whatever. And I'd be like, yeah, I know, like, whatever.
Well,
like,
yeah,
I'm with you guys.
Right.
You don't see
I'm not that kind of female.
Yeah. But I mean, you know, and then I would still have those boyfriends within those crews, but I felt like I was different. It didn't feel like polar. Like
I didn't feel like I was being objectified.
Me neither. Oh, you did?
No, I didn't.
I didn't.
No. And I think that's why I was sort of, you know, later on, I experienced some of that as I got older and developed more in my body and how I care of myself, how I talk. Then I just realized, oh, it doesn't even matter what age you are or whatever. Like, men are just being gross. they're doing what their fathers did and their uncles did, and so it's this other perpetuating cycle of
and I think I'm blessed because I feel like the grossness didn't happen for me way later.
Yeah.
Like I feel like there was a good solid 10 years where I had a really strong crew of guys who really supported me and weren't weird. There was like one or two weird guys.
Yeah.
But I was straight up like with my friends, like, you need to keep that person away.
Yeah.
They're whack, get the fuck out. Like, and they knew I didn't like them. And for me to say that, they knew because I was so cool. That, don't bring that fool around. Yeah. And that fool ended up being some crazy person. Like, I knew my vibe. I knew that person shouldn't be representing us.
Yeah.
So it's important, like, to trust that instinct. And I feel like you and I we grew up similarly in the same way of, like, I guess, which I didn't know. Kind of
I actually grew up with, like, cholos.
Yeah.
I did. I went to,
it was the 90s.
It was the 90s, but I grew up, like, I went to school in Carson.
Okay.
And, but before then, I predominantly went to school with Blacks and Mexicans. And there was a sprinkle of everything else in there, And then when I went to Carson, it was like Filipino and Samoan. I was like, what the
that's
hell
a whole
is that?
other clique, too. Yeah. They're crazy. Yeah,
I was like, Pacific Islanders? I don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
What is that? They were wearing, like...
Was it the cross colors? Are we going to talk about... that was back then. Early 90s.
I'm right up in that hour. Yeah. Housing.
All the housers. And they used to battle dance in the quad to the house music. I was younger, so I used to look up and be like, dang, those Filipino crews are crazy.
Oh, they were so good.
They were pop locking and they were so sick. They were hardcore, too.
Those were the homies. I was like, all my friends were Filipino. I remember my mom would see, she's like, you don't have no black friends? I'm like, I have black friends. My mom's white, by the way. She's concerned about me having black friends.
That's funny.
And so, but they were all Filipino, and we rolled in these crews.
So fun.
And it was some of the best times, man. Some of the best memories. And
it's all about the dancing back then.
It's all about the dancing, and the music was just so, like, still, just like, I listened to it all, get all nostalgic and shit,
That super early house too is legit. Like I have so many. I know I have like house records, but I have like Chicago house from like probably 97 and up.
Yep.
But that house music from like early 90, like 90 to like 97.
Yeah.
That stuff I don't have a lot of, and I'm like, I'm still like trying to get it.
That's like the birthing of it,
Yeah, I know. It's really hard to get.
If it wasn't for KCRW, I don't think that, like when they were doing that Santa Monica radio, I was like, what is happening? Like, I was like right there when they started. And I was
you were.
I was like, and I think it was 96, 97 when, no, it was like mid 90s, I think, that I can remember. And they played a lot of like house music and like ambient jungle.
The jungle, you're right. That's what it was.
Really
it was the jungle
music.
Too. I remember
hard breaks.
Yes. I remember
hard beats.
James Brown is Dead by LA Style.
Oh yeah, dude.
Oh my god, I heard that when I was like, I don't know, I must have been 12 or 13. I was like, ding! Like I was like, what is this? And like that Sesame Street, like that old school.
How to get to Sesame Street. Like builds.
It's just so sick. And they did so many of those cool like variations. And,
they did different things. And Power Tools was huge for that.
Power Tools was the shit back then.
They were really playing a lot of stuff. And I was, like I said, all my friends were Filipino or Mexican.
Yeah.
So I dated all these Mexican guys because that's what was available. So I was attracted to.
Yeah, of course. It was the look, too.
It was like, if it was a predominantly school of black folks, then I'd probably be dating black men and whatever. And so my girlfriends were Filipino and Mexican, so then there's a big Cholo population
for sure
in LA in general and at this school. And lots of fights. It was a bad school. Lots of stupid fights. And that's who I hung around with. So my mom was like, why are you talking like this? And, I was like, talking like what? I'm not going to do it. I was like, it's coming. I'm not going to do it because I don't talk like that now. And I think I was, you're just influenced by dialect and things you hear and culture. And so, you just sort of pick it up and, but I got into some trouble with some really hardcore people who were doing dumb things, and
you were there,
and I was there, and I was arrested, and I was just like, okay, this isn't gonna work.
Yeah.
I don't even come from this kind of family, and now I'm running around like, what am I doing? And I felt bad for these guys I was running around with, because a good handful of them are dead now. So I did lose my homeboy Andy. He was a really great, just a sweetheart. He lost his life around 16. And and it just goes on from there.
It's crazy when you look back, because I have a few people who passed away when we were in our teens. It's like they didn't even make it to like 21.
Not even, dude.
And dude, like, look how big our life has become, and how expansive it is, and how much we've matured. It's like they never even got that opportunity.
I think about that a lot, you know? Like,
yeah,
especially with Andy, because he was so protective, and he's a big old teddy bear, but he lived in Wilmington. He lived in the projects. And, he was in survival mode when he got killed.
Absolutely.
And,
dude, and if I look back at how many times I was in those situations where I didn't get in trouble, I didn't get arrested. There were times where I didn't show up that day.
Oh yeah.
That happened to me like 3 or 4 times where my homie got locked up, and he's like, oh my God, I was so glad you weren't there, because this other thing happened. The cops came, and I'm like, I just couldn't show up for whatever reason. The universe was like, kept me. But I mean, I could have been screwed too. Like, and these kids, like, we didn't have anywhere else to go. We were in search of something. We were looking for support and family. They were my family. Like,
looking for family, exactly.
And they were my family. I feel the same way. I feel thank goodness, my really close friends are still here with me and everything. But I think a lot of the choices they made now, they have felonies. Now they can't get certain jobs. Like, now they have to work at a certain, like, a blue collar 9 to 5 or midnight work, because of what they did when we were 15 years old. Like, are you for real? It's like the most ridiculous thing ever.
It's such a horrible injustice system, because we criminalize, and obviously, brown folks, black folks were marginalized, and so the opportunities are already hard.
From the beginning.
And so anything that like that could fuck it up.
Absolutely.
You hope sometimes, like, there's always exceptions, but the exceptions are like so tiny for you to be a rap star, creative, you invent something, you know what I mean, that the world can't live without, I mean, for that to happen to you, to be that exception coming from such adversity is very rare.
Well, let me ask you this. In terms of, because of you're here on First Among Equals, because you're so amazing. The reason is because I feel like I've noticed that you are putting a lot of things forward that you want for your future, and sort of things that you want to come to fruition, and all the things that you've been making and creating. What do you think this year moving forward is like your first now?
That's a great question. Ultimately, Willow and Oak, what I really want to work with is creating a platform of inclusivity.
Okay.
It did take a long time to realize what my voice, what I wanted that to sound like, and how I wanted to articulate that as a brand. I grew up in LGBT communities, very diverse neighborhoods, moved around a lot as well. So, I was like, I want a platform for those that usually wouldn't get that platform. If I can do that, as a woman of color, that's really important to me. So building on that, and creating a line that really focuses on time out, self-care, self-love, deep reflection for a skincare line.
I think that's why you're here, though.
Yeah, because
I feel like this really matters to you, and I actually want to be on that path with you.
Thank you. Yeah.
Like, I am full on going to commit to try to do that, because I see that.
Welcome.
Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. And that's why I needed to have this conversation with you, even if we weren't doing this.
Yeah.
Because I feel connected to you, and I want to learn more, and I want to be more self-aware, self-care. I think this is a form of self-care that I have not looked into. And something in my mind keeps saying, like, you need to do this. And you always go, well, I'll do it later. Oh, I don't have time mentally.
Yeah, right.
To put that aside, because it does take energy to, like, do the research, understand your body. And there's a lot of things I'm trying to, like, let go of, that I think it's like a security blanket.
Of course.
It's like, I've been using Sure for 20 years and it doesn't let me down and I can work crazy hours. But I'm also like, when am I getting that cancer that is going to happen? Like, it's bound to happen. Or when you walk through the mall and it's like, you know, that sticker on the mall and it says like, entering this facility, you are open or prone to cancerous. And I'm like, okay, like this is okay. Let's put a sticker on it. We can walk through and it's okay for this to be happening to us now.
Like they're making us aware of it, but we're also still, you know, ritually have these things going on.
Well, and there's a responsibility to take care of humans.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, so we're past that now. We're just going to put stickers on shit that say you could die. And it's not even like smoking a cigarette or making an active, like putting it in your body. You're walking into a building. And the building says that if you walk in this building, you could maybe get something from this building. How is that responsible as like humans and as people? And
it's where
that hurts me. That's crazy.
That's because there's money, you know. There's money and funding and investments and that people are like, well, you know, we told them.
That's and I hate that.
It's really lazy and
it's lazy. It's irresponsible.
And irresponsible, yeah.
It's like we're not taking accountability for how we should deal with things and what we should do to take precautions. It's like we're just slapping labels on shit now and saying, okay, you know, it's kind of like this is kind of a little slightly off topic, but a few years ago, after all the massive shootings now, it's like I used to work for the city and we had to take active shooter training. And I'm like, oh, great. So now I work for the summer as a summer camp director. And instead of us dealing with guns and all the laws and all the crazy shit, we're just going to make everyone get prepared for when this happens. And I have 75 kids on my premises and I have to figure out how to deal with a crazy person at the park.
Yeah.
So let's just teach us how not to freak out and how to deal with stuff. And the way I feel about guns is I'm actually trying to be more open to all that too. Because I do think I'm working on it right now. But I used to be very like, no guns and no. And I'm actually really more open now to understanding, but it's like, we're not educating people on how to use guns. We're not educating people that there are guns and what do you do and how do you take care of guns and how do you manage people and I think that it's more about education
still
now.
Very cowboy mentality when it comes to guns. And
exactly. You know. And that's where I'm like, okay, we can't deny that there's guns and I'm not going to be this crazy liberal that says like, no guns. Like that's not realistic. There's guns everywhere.
Yeah.
There's guns everywhere. So what are we going to do? We have to admit that this is what it is, but how do we educate people? How do we inform people? How do we make people think differently? And, you know, the active shooter training thing freaked me out. I was like, that's so not cool. Like,
that would freak me out too.
It mentally I'm sitting there with all these cops and like counselors and I'm like, it's like Twilight Zone. And it's the same thing as how I feel. It's like, I need to be more responsible with myself. I have to be more aware of like what I'm putting into my body and what I'm putting on my body. I'm still trying to work on what I put into my body. Now with you here, I want to understand what I need to put on my body. What am I not putting on my body? I
really do believe less is more in so many areas of our life. Our homes, we have a lot of clutter. We have a lot of things that we just sort of hold on to.
Yes.
And I had this conversation a few times where we see individuals who are living on the streets, who collect things. This is like something innate in us to just own. We need to have things. I mean, broken hair dryers and shoes that don't match. I mean, they're carrying miscellaneous things. But and you think like, oh gosh, like, why are you carrying that all around? And you're just littering the streets, blah, blah, blah. But when you come into your own home, it's really the same thing.
Yeah.
But you're more civilized. I don't know.
Yeah.
Not really.
No, not really.
It's just put away neatly, and
you just have your own space.
You have a shower,
Yeah, exactly.
But it's the same hoarding idea, and I think that it does have like a really energetic effect on you, where you just feel very claustrophobic and you can't move, and you start focusing on things that aren't necessary because you're distracted by clutter. So I've really been doing that too, where I've been like eliminating things that just aren't necessary. I'm not using this. Maybe somebody else could use it,
And asking yourself, what does it mean?
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
why do I
need all this shit,
Yeah, why do I have this?
Yeah.
Like, and sometimes, like, you just have to, like, look at that thing, remember it, and go, okay, that was great, that one night, whatever. You gotta go. Goodwill that, mother.
Do I really need this Bob Ross bobblehead?
Yes.
Right. Exactly. Do I need a souvenir from New York of the...
Everyone gives me Bob Ross stuff. I think that's what he said.
Oh, is that what's up?
I think so. This last year,
he was the man, dude.
Do I need the little easel?
The man.
He's a great guy.
Yeah, he was a great guy.
Yeah.
Anyways, yeah. So I think.
But the less you put on, I think deodorant's great. I think, when you start to go to something more natural, whether it's, botanical perfume, which is what I'm working on now, to deodorant.
Is that what you were rocking right now? What are you rocking
part
right
of it.
now?
This is patchouli.
Oh my gosh! Well, okay, I guess patchouli smells different on you then, because I didn't get patchouli for whatever reason.
That's what's so great is either people get it because they hate it. People who hate patchouli recognize it immediately, and people who don't have that much experience with patchouli. Yeah. This is a lighter patchouli. It's not a big punch in your face.
It's not. It was great.
It's a little more floral.
It's great. Now I don't smell you anymore because I'm with you. Yeah, but like when you first came in, it was like, she has entered my.
I'm definitely playing home with that. It's one of my favorite scents. I get the most compliments on it, and positive compliments on it. And I thought, oh wow, this is so beautiful. Like, it doesn't hide anything. Again, you're playing with something that is from our planet.
That's wonderful. Yeah.
It hasn't gone through arduous processing methods. And to where you're like, what is that?
Yeah.
Does it smell like cucumber melon? Whatever the fuck that smells like.
Yeah. So, okay, so exciting. So what are you working on now? Like, what is it that you're...
Yeah, so, I mean, I've always there's always things wrong. Like, I want to do this, but right now, intuitively now I'm working with having botanical perfumes. So this is something I wanted to do for a long time, but it wasn't something that was a priority. So now I'm sort of in a place where I'm I really would love to offer a little bit higher luxury item that, again, you're not putting crazy hormone disruptors in your body, and very concentrated, beautiful aromas that really sort of evoke
I love it. really
amazing feelings. It's they're grounding, they're aromatically, they just really put you in a place where you're like, I got this shit, And I didn't realize how amazing aromatherapy was until you start playing with these things. So,
I don't know that.
So always been it's still growing. I'm still learning about how all this works, and the fact that, I wish my price points could be lower. I try to make them as accessible as, I try to reasonably have good prices, but unfortunately, anything lower than what I do now, I wouldn't be able to make a living.
Exactly.
To create it.
I get that.
So at some point you have to look at yourself as a brand and a business.
Yeah, not some artist.
I have to make money to sustain creating these things for people.
And wanting to.
Yeah. I don't want to be broke in doing it,
It's not fun.
It's not.
It's not. I got over that. So, yeah.
It's not. And
hooking somebody up.
It's a luxury line, so it's not like you need this.
No, exactly.
But we do enjoy it. I mean, through man's, creation, they've always enjoyed luxuries,
Absolutely.
They've always done something to sort of allow themselves to be, whether it's, costumes or, finer clothing.
Absolutely.
Salts and sugars, were very, very rare back in the day. And so I just find that less is more, a simple routine, to really get you set for the day, a little deodorant.
Yeah, let me ask you that. I know, but what would the simple routine look like for you now? Yeah,
so I've got some body butters that I've created, and I've always loved body oils, and so we're talking, out of the shower, we're talking about getting those things on the body immediately.
Okay.
And that just sort of sets the mood, because now you're having that self care time where you actually have to physically stop, put things on your body.
I'm so bad
your mind is idling, but
any of that.
All the aromas are coming in, and you're just like, I got this, it just feels good to sort of not feel rushed.
Yeah.
And you do have to set that time out too for that. So, you're putting on your body oil, your body butter for me. Whatever facial serum I'm wanting to play with that day, something a little heavier, something a little lighter.
What would the heavier one, what are the differences between? So this is coming from a person who
No, this is great. Because I'm so used to it, so I have to figure out how to sort of like, oh, okay.
Well, and I want to understand it because I know that I think it's important, and I don't do anything like that. I put on skin like sunblock, and like
that's good.
Yeah, but I don't do it too much. I do eye makeup because I'm just always been eye makeup because of my mom.
Yeah,
is what you talked about. And my mom was like 1970s, like eyeshadow with liquid with water, like painting it. I used to watercolor it on my eyes. Wow. You know, and I used to be. They don't even, the eyeshadows they make now, they're not even as potent, as strong anymore. So when I do them, they don't even stay because they're not using. It's just a trip.
Yeah, I mean,
it's really interesting.
Makeup has gone through its own evolution.
Absolutely.
I mean, I worked for MAC Cosmetics for a long time, and I thought, wow, this is, that was a whole other amazing experience. It really was.
Which that's a whole other conversation I actually would really want to talk about. But a
self-care routine. I think when we're talking about oils, we definitely learned through the previous generations that those are bad. If it's petroleum for sure. Yeah. But the facial serum I have called Luminous Dew, we're talking avocado oil. I do jojoba oil, and I've actually infused 4 herbs into that to extract all the medicinal properties from it. Wow. So gotu kola, plantain, nettle, calendula, and all of them were specifically chosen for, collagen reboot, to restore inflammation, really keeping things intact, because life is, it gets very stressful, and it can really show on you. Yeah. And so these are nice luxuries to sort of help you sort of take a little time out, sort of preserve how we feel on the inside, can reflect on the outside and vice versa. So it's a little bit of a lighter oil, so you can, put some makeup on top of that and not feel like it's going to be super heavy. But, when we think of oils, we're thinking of something that feels luminous, something that feels sort of beautiful and healthy. Skin is sort of oily, and it looks good when it has a luminance on it. When we powder our skins down, we become very flat. Yeah, true. And that could really take away. Dimension. Yeah, it takes away from sort of, our cheekbones and, sort of emphasizing some of those things that are really beautiful on us. And so keeping that routine very minimal is important, and less makeup is good. And when you want to do it more, great. Yeah. I don't think it should be something all the time, because again, it's, it's a way to sort of, I think big makeup is hiding. You're kind of hiding behind it. You're having fun, but it is a sense of hiding to me. Yeah. For these girls that have like these lashes on now, and it's just like so much makeup
every day.
Every day they're doing that.
That's rough.
And so that to identify with that every day, I think in the long run it could become a little damaging. Just because I've worked in that industry, and I'm just like, okay, financially it could be damaging as well. We don't, so put your serum on, a little blush, maybe some lips, some mascara. Yeah, like keep it really simple, because it's unnecessary. Yeah, I agree. To have all the extras.
And then when you do it up, then you it's 100. Then you're like, oh my gosh, right? Oh my gosh.
Then it's really fun and enjoyable. Yeah, I agree. You're like, because it's every once in a while, you're not used to it.
I think that's what I worry about. Is I want to be able to walk out with like sunblock. I'm straight with a hat and go work out. Or and you know what I mean? Or like yesterday when I painted a mural, like, no, I'm not gonna wear any makeup, like whatever. And I'm still wanting to videotape or promote, and I don't want to ever feel like, I don't want people to get used to always made up Lonnie, because then when you don't see me like that, it looks all washed out. But I also want to like love myself enough to say, this is what I look like with no makeup. Yeah. Or tiny tad makeup. Like, you know what I mean? Like it is, like you said, it just.
There's that balance that needs to happen. And I think sometimes when you become like sort of a more social media face, these things do come into play where you're like, well, how do I want to present myself? How do I want to talk? You know? Because I have a bad potty mouth. So dropping the F-bombs and using like really like unfiltered metaphors about shit. And it's just like, it's great in person because I feel like I don't have to change my rhetoric to sort of, please anybody.
Yeah,
you know?
You're just being authentic to
but I wouldn't necessarily write like that on my social media. Like I might play around with it, but I don't think sometimes I necessarily enjoy reading that because energetically I don't know how
people are reading it.
Yeah, because it's not like in person. It feels different than how it looks, and then it's like, okay. Yeah. So is that like a fuck yeah? Or is that like fuck yeah?
It's not cute sometimes.
Right. How do I put this in a font that articulates? Then it becomes that's too much work now. So we're not even gonna put it in there.
Yeah.
So so sometimes and how do I look? And it's like that plays a big part too.
Especially because you're doing the whole line.
Yeah, man.
So it's like, who are you now? Like, who were you versus who are you now? What are you trying to say?
Beauty lines keep you accountable for sure. I mean, there are days where I'm like, the skin is looking crazy.
Yeah.
I can't be on point. I haven't had no water today. I can't be telling people to drink water, and I'm like, fucking been drinking tea all day.
That's my
coffee.
Shit, exactly. Or living your best life when you're not. Like sometimes
living your best life.
Yeah, that's like the trendy shit. Right? That's like the trendy shit. Like living your best life, and I'm like, oh my god, I just don't want to fall into that. I really do want to live my best life, but I don't want to fall into that, just be real. Some days just suck. Some things are just hard.
Yeah, I think when you look at Willow and Oak, and I know a lot of people who go on my Instagram, sort of go, oh yeah, the impression that it is a little bit more of a more reflective line of beauty care products. It's I don't have a lot of models because I'm broke. I can't afford models. And right now I am trying to create a platform for people who want to volunteer.
Cool.
Sometimes sort of talk about self-love and care and sort of, I did a recent post where those questions.
Yeah, I saw the questions.
More or less that's what I'm going to do and have pictures of them. And I'll do some video work as well for Insta Stories. So it's a really fun way for me to play within a passion project so that I don't become stale and that I'm building a community and a platform that not only is going to serve its purpose for what I want to do, because it's always a little self-serving, It's always like, yeah, I want to make money doing this, but I also, my intentions are to sort of build community.
Absolutely.
And heal, I have to talk about some of these things that ail me because I'm dragging them around. They're like rocks, and so to have that support and to be honest with people and they can come to this sort of Instagram and get inspired and feel like, oh, this is some real shit. I
feel you. That's exactly what I want to do.
I'm 40. I skin sensation. I smoked cigarettes for 20 years. I had a lot of bad rituals, and they still linger. There's still, you're constantly sort of going like, that's probably not a good decision. Probably shouldn't do that. You know what I mean? Instead of just being so impulsive.
Yeah.
Saying, fuck, nobody's gonna know.
Yeah, totally. It's
but
Well,
I know.
And that's all that really matters is if doesn't really matter what everyone else thinks at the end of the day. I mean, what you hide, it's gonna come out in some way.
Word. It is gonna get projected in some way.
Absolutely. What I mean? Well, I want to say thank you so much.
Thank you so much for coming. This is great.
I'm just very grateful for you coming and sharing your story because I know that there's a lot of heavy stuff in there, and every time that I bring someone like-minded to the table and we talk, I feel very grateful and very blessed by your energy, and so
thank you. Feelings mutual. It's nice to just be a part of women sort of creating platforms for other women.
Yes, that's exactly what
it really is about. Rising and helping each other together.
And people listening. I think people listening. Everyone keeps telling me to get things out of these connections that I'm so grateful and blessed to have.
That's awesome.
I've been watching you for a while, and I just really admire the work that you're doing, and I know that it takes a lot of passion and energy every single day. Your aesthetic is amazing. I know your line is amazing. I know you're going to do so well in the future.
Thank you.
So where can anyone find you online or any plugs, please?
Yeah, so willowandoskincare.com, and that'll get you to the website.
Awesome.
And of course, Willow and Oak Skincare, that's the Instagram tag. So same thing as the website, just .com.
Awesome.
Yeah, so thank you so much.
So thank you, Nikki, for coming.
Yeah.
And thank you guys for listening, and have a great rest of your day. Bye. Bye.
Peace.